Hello, everybody out there in the interwebs. Welcome to a special edition, special episode of Disrupt Your Now, which I usually have only on Tuesday nights. Usually Adaptable Entrepreneurs is tonight, but my friend Annette Whittenberger, who is here with me, we are producing a very special Disrupt Your Now Entrepreneur Conference next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I wanted her on the show so that we can talk about it and talk about not just the conference, but the reasons for it. So, Annette, tell them what you do. Well,
So
wait. First,
sorry.
because you might not say this, she's a retired Army major. So I just want that up front because you might not say it.
I wasn't going to say that. Thank you. Let's see. I'm kind of like a accidental serial entrepreneur thing because I like to do all the things. But basically, I'm a mental health advocate. I write, I speak, I have a podcast, and I love working with other people that are like-minded and like-hearted. So I'm just, when Lisa and I met, I don't even remember how we met, but I'm so glad that we did.
Yeah,
so
I'm not sure how we met either. I think we met last year, just like through the crowdfunding campaign for the NASCAR team.
Oh yeah, that was it. So
the Daytona campaign, the very first crowdfunder we did. Yeah,
that's right. And I was like, I want to be part of it because of the mission. So that was it. So yeah.
Well, the thing that I love about us doing this conference together is that you did disrupt your now by accidentally starting your business. Seriously, because you never had any intention or dream or anything of being where you are. So can you tell them a little bit about your background and how you got here? Because I want them to understand, basically, when I say disrupt your now, I mean, don't just keep living life like it's been. You can change your life, whatever it is. Even if you already own a business, you can change it and pivot and make it what you want. So I want Annette to tell y'all how she has created an awesome life.
So it started from hard challenges in my life. I went through things as a child into my adulthood and into my military career, and I became a master at suppression, just suppressing all my feelings. I didn't know how to talk about it because in the 80s we just didn't talk about stuff like that. I was at my breaking point where I had to make a decision on whether I was going to keep living like this anymore. And, after hitting rock bottom a handful of times, I had to be really talked into the place I needed to be. Like, hey, you were successful. You have a family. You have kids. And I'm like, when you're in that deep place, that dark place, nothing matters.
Exactly. It's like this dark hole, and I equate it to feeling like you're drowning because I've been there. It feels like you cannot get out. You're suffocating.
Yeah. And no one understands, or that's what you think, and you don't know how to talk about it, and you got it. You could take care of it. So that's when I started writing. I started the blog, and I decided to do the website and just started sharing my feelings in hopes that I could help myself, but also to help other people. And then from that, I never realized where it was going to go, but it's been active for 4 years. And then I started the podcast. The podcast is called The Truths We Hide. So between a wild ride called life and the truths we hide, there was a method to my madness. It was basically just to show people that it's okay to not be okay, and how to turn your mess into your message.
I love that tagline, turn your mess into a message, because we've all got a mess, and we need to understand that we shouldn't be ashamed about our mess. We should try to use it to empower ourselves and to help others.
Yes.
And that's what I love about what you've done, Annette, because you started out blogging to help yourself. Basically, that was your way of journaling and purging. Yes. And you didn't even know if anybody was going to read it or not, right? So you're just like writing, and then I guess a few people start reading and a few people more. And the next thing you know, you've got a huge following worldwide. I mean, you've really grown just since I met you a little over a year ago, your business.
It has. And you know what? It took for me to realize that I wasn't just a blogger. We often look at, I don't know how to say it, but oftentimes we when someone says that they're a blogger, you're like, oh, okay, so you're right, you're just right. But it really isn't just that. It's so much more. And
Well,
so
the other thing is people think of a blogger as being somebody in their pajamas in the basement. It's just, well,
so
you might have on your pajamas, but
I might, but no, but then I had to realize what was my why and what did I want to do with it. And so that's when I had to realize that I shouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be ashamed that I'm a blogger or whatever. And I wanted to make it more and expand it and share my story without feeling like no one's going to care or, oh, that's not a big deal. So yeah, it is a big deal because I'm going to make it a big deal. And so I think that's.
Yeah, and the thing is, by you making it a big deal and you being willing to just lay it on the line and help other people lay it on the line, then that makes it okay for everybody else. Because that's the thing, people don't want to talk about their problems because they're embarrassed. They feel like they're the only ones. They feel like I'm a loser. Why is everybody else so awesome? I'm such a loser. And when they hear other people, first they see you being so honest and talk about your real challenges and how you've been able to turn your life around. And by life, obviously you were married and had kids and everything. So I'm talking your emotional, life, not that you like ditched your family and got a new one or whatever. But see, to me, that's what makes it even better, because usually, a lot, or I should say a lot of times, it takes losing all that before people can find themselves. But I just love how you make it okay for somebody to not be okay. And like you said, your mess is your message.
Yeah. No, thank you.
When I was on your podcast last year, that was the first time outside of the NASCAR team that I'm working with, explaining to people and that why I'm doing it. That was the first time I'd really talked about my grandfather killing himself. And it wasn't because I was ashamed, but it happened when I was 5 years old. My grandmother tried to 3 years later. And it's one of those things, okay, it was there when I was a kid. People whispered, when we're in the store, those are those little girls whose grandfather killed them. And you can hear, but you just kind of put that stuff in a box and put it away. And that's part of your life. But when I started working with the team and met you, that was literally the longest conversation on your podcast that I've ever in my life had about that period of my life. And I think that's typical of families, because even if you're like an open communicative family, it tends like, okay, this happened, but now we got to put it away because we're going to be okay and we're going to, soldier through or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and then the name of the podcast, The Truths We Hide, that's just awesome. So for people who are not familiar with the team that I keep mentioning, I work with the only NASCAR team that races to combat veteran suicide. And it's a NASCAR Xfinity Series team. 20-year-old driver is Colin Garrett, and he he promotes two nonprofits pro bono, and all the work I do is pro bono. Racing for Heroes, which provides treatment to help prevent suicide, mental and physical health, job training and placement, and motorsports therapy. And then the other nonprofit is the Rosie Network, which helps train and mentor entrepreneurs who are veterans and military spouses, or active duty. And Racing for Heroes also helps like anybody in the military community, but first responders. And, it's not just like, oh, you have to be a veteran to be helped. But last year we crowdfunded for NASCAR, and for Daytona, and it was the first crowdfunder any of us had ever done. And we were able to beat our goal and make enough to pay for stem cell treatments for a guy, an Army veteran who has MS from exposure to chemicals in Germany. And it was such an amazing feeling, because after his first treatment, like, I guess within a month or whatever, a few weeks after his first treatment, he was able to stand up.
Oh my God.
Before, he could sit on a scooter and you couldn't tell there was anything wrong, but he couldn't stand at all. It was just limp. Took 2 adult men. So he was able to stand up after the first treatment, take a few steps after the second treatment, and walk across the room after the third treatment. And back in the fall, kind of the late fall, he posted on social media that he had just gone for a 6-month checkup and been shown the MRI that they took in the spring. So it probably was maybe at the 3-month mark after he started treatments. I would say 4 months at the very latest. And he said that there were no new lesions. Some of the lesions had lessened in size and some had totally gone away.
Oh my gosh.
And to know that our little crowdfunder was able to do that is just amazing. It shows the things that you can do when you really work together. And this is how I met you, Annette. Part of what we did was with the crowdfunder, any veteran or military spouse-owned company that gave at least $10 was listed on our website. Their logo and link to their site was listed on the team website. And they also got a badge to use in their own marketing. It had the NASCAR logo and Collins logo, and our American Dream Team and Veteran Business Advocate. It's the first time ever in the history of NASCAR that a team has come up with a way to help small businesses be part of a national marketing campaign. So I'm really proud of that.
That's amazing. That really was.
And we're out to disrupt that whole thing. I want to disrupt the whole sponsorship model, Annette, not just in NASCAR, but everywhere. Because if we can get businesses to understand that by working philanthropically and aligning themselves with causes, social responsibility, aligning themselves with causes, that they can get way more out of that, the investment in that, than they can out of traditional traditional advertising, because of the goodwill and the loyalty that it generates.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do more.
Yeah.
It makes such a big difference.
It does. And I know that you, as a veteran, I'm sure that when you see a company that supports the military community, it's going to make you at least think of them. They're going to at least be a little bit higher in the front of your brain if you ever need them. And it's like with NASCAR, everybody, if they have a team, you're loyal to that team and you're loyal to those products and that brand. But NASCAR fans, even if they have a team, they will pick the sponsor of another team before they'll pick somebody who isn't a NASCAR sponsor.
Mm.
So, it's actually the most loyal fans in any U.S. pro sports. So I think that's very interesting that if somebody comes in as a sponsor of one team, they automatically get they're kind of in the glow, the halo of the other teams. But I have to say, selfishly, the other teams are typically not racing to promote. They might most of them in some small way, or promoting nonprofits, but they're not dedicating like their team and their whole thing. They're not trying to do the whole thing around promoting causes that are important to that. So
wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. So the thing that we have going on now, y'all, and then we're going to get into what Annette and I are doing, but this is why we're doing it. We have philanthropists who have put up all but $50,000 for the Talladega race, which is April 24th. Suffice it to say, the amount they've put up is well over $100,000. And that means that if we need to come up with the other 50,000, in order to get their 100, I don't want to say the exact amount, but it's well over 100,000. But we need to come up with the other 50,000 to put with the money that they have backed us with. And the reason they're doing that is because they want the car on the track. They truly believe in our causes, and they want it out on the track so that it can be promoted, but they don't want to be on the car. They just want the car on the track. So what this has done is made it so that, like, if another company came up with $50,000, they could literally have the whole car, except for the spots where we promote the nonprofits. Or we also have small spots like 3,500 to be on the deck lid, which is kind of like the trunk, which is amazingly low, because usually it's like 100,000, 200,000 to be on a car for a race. But so what Annette and I are doing is, and it was Annette's idea, and I thank you very much, Annette. We are doing this entrepreneur conference next Tuesday because, first of all, we want to help other small business owners. And secondly, we're using it as a way to raise a little money for the crowdfunder. And thirdly, as a way to generate awareness of the crowdfunder. So you want to talk a little bit about what we're doing or what your thoughts were behind it?
So because of the virtual world that we're in right now, I'm really big on having online events and speakers, because there's so many people out there that support, this mission. And I thought, you know what, maybe we should do an event. Maybe we should do an event with speakers and sell tickets. And make sure, and the ticket money, like she said, this isn't for us. This is going towards the team.
100% of it. 100% is going towards that. Yeah.
Exactly. But not just any speakers. I'm not speaking. This is other experts that she has brought in. But for $30, you get 6 speakers.
Yeah.
For over a 3-day period. I mean, that's like nothing. And then I think it was, so wait, let me go back. So I just thought an event would be great, because we've been trying, Lisa's been trying so hard to make things happen. And I don't know what it was, but I was like, Lisa, how can I help you? What can I do to help you promote this? I was so grateful
when you reached out, because I really was. I was so grateful, because as you know, it can be a very lonely thing to not only be an entrepreneur, but when you're trying to work for some cause and you can't get people's attention because the world is so loud out there. People care. They would care about what we're doing, but you got to get their attention first.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you do. And when I believe in something like that, and just, seeing the type of person that Lisa is, I don't know. I just wanted to see what I could do. And I'm little, but I can help promote. And that's just what I love to do. So yeah. Now this is taking off.
Thank you so much for your support ever since we first met, but also your moral support. And, it helps to know that there are other people that are like, yes, you can do it. Hey, there's our buddy, Mark. Hey, Mark. We have 6 amazing speakers, y'all. Look, it's 2 hours a night, next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 7 to 9. 2 speakers each night, but we're also recording it. So if you can't come to any of them, you will still be able to access the video all year. Anybody who buys a ticket will be able to look. Mark, I'm starstruck. Y'all are both so awesome. Well, Mark, we're starstruck that you're here.
I
know. We're blushing. So yeah, you'll be able to access the videos all year. The people who are going to be there are amazing. Our keynote speaker opening it up is Daryl Hatton, who is the founder of a company called Fundraiser, which most people have heard of, like GoFundMe and stuff like that. What they don't know is Fundraiser was one of the very first, or Daryl was one of the very first crowdfunding companies before it was even called crowdfunding. He has been in this industry. He actually created one of the first ways that people could give on Facebook, and his entire business model was built around that. But then when Facebook started their own thing, then he, went and developed his own platform. He's got an amazing platform though, and he is a huge believer in building a business that means more than money. His business is a nonprofit, and obviously he wants to make money, but he truly does believe in building a business with heart. And everybody that raises funds on his platform, there's no fee to the people raising funds, except for your credit card processing that you would pay anywhere. And you're not paying that to Fundraiser. and the donors can give a tip to fundraiser. So that's how they make their money. But so we have him as keynote. We have Dr. Hobie Wedler, who is a blind PhD chemist. And my father was blind. So I met Hobie a few weeks ago in Clubhouse, and we just totally hit it off. But Hobie is an entrepreneur, and he specializes in helping companies create products and experiences that don't rely so much on vision. For example, he created blind tastings for the Francis Ford Coppola winery. So everybody wears a blindfold and they go in and taste the wines and talk about it, because things taste different. They smell different when you can't see them. Have you ever eaten anything like that with a blindfold in? Or, we eat in the dark. You kind of like, I want to see my food,
I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I love him so much. And it's been good for me emotionally because my father died in 1995. So it's a way that, it's like I get to be around kind of all the things that I took for granted growing up around him. But one of the very last tasting Hobie did was the day before the shutdown started. And he did one with the United Culinary Institute.
Jeez.
And he partnered with them, and they partnered with Dave Matthews Winery, Dreaming Tree. It's the one on the West Coast. He also has one on the East Coast. This was the one on the West Coast because that's where Hobie is. And they did, it right there at the winery or wherever. But they did double blind tasting, and they paired 4 wines with 5 of Dave's songs. So what happened is the first 4 wines were paired with a song, and they talk about, what they're thinking and feeling from the music. What they didn't tell them was the 5th song was paired with the same wine that was the 4th song. And the people thought it was a totally different wine. It was like a rosé, and they thought it was white or red. Isn't that cool? God.
That is cool. That would have been so fun.
Yeah. So he's amazing. We're talking about doing some tastings ourselves, some virtual blind tastings ourselves to benefit causes that are important to us. Have you ever met anybody who's blind, Annette?
Excuse me.
Sorry. I didn't mean
real life, you guys. I have never personally met, but I know a guy I met I think through Facebook, Aaron Hale, and he's the founder of EOD, Ordinary Delights, brownies or chocolate. But he does his whole cooking show on TikTok now and on Instagram, and he's completely blind, but it was due to an injury overseas because he's an Army vet. But it's incredible the things that.
That's cool. I need to find his show. Yeah, Hobie was born blind. I have to show you something Mark said. I eat a lot of my wife's cooking blindfolded.
Why am I not surprised?
Blindfolded now. You got to sleep with one eye open tonight. Well, my father was not born blind, but he started going blind when he was 8. His retina started detaching, and so he gradually lost his sight. By the time he was a teenager, he couldn't see at all. And but we didn't think of him being blind because, you don't go, oh, my father's hair, my father's eyes are this color or whatever. It's just your father. Yeah. And so we didn't tell like all our new friends. We just assumed they would know or didn't even think about it. So when I was in high school, my new best friend had been coming to my house for like 2 months. And somebody at school said something about my father being blind. She goes, he's not blind. And I'm like, yeah, he is.
Oh, she had no idea.
He looked at you when you talked, and he rode horses. He played basketball with us. Like we played around the world, and we would knock on the goal post, the post that the basketball goal. We would knock on it, and he would shoot, and things like that. But another funny thing is he had a full woodworking shop in our basement, a lathe and everything.
Oh my
And when we
gosh.
were little, the principal of our elementary school came over. He wanted to use Daddy's lathe. He was so nervous that Daddy was going to cut himself that man cut the end of his finger off. And my father literally never cut himself,
Oh my
but
gosh.
because he is very careful. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Mark says it's amazing how the other senses kick in. It really is, Mark, and that's the thing with Hobie talking. He's going to be talking about overcoming limitations, not accepting the labels that are assigned to you. And it might be other people assigning the label to you, or it might be labels that you're assigning to yourself. You know, it could be, oh, I'm too old, or this, you know, or it could be, you know, somebody going to me, oh, you're over 50 or whatever. Or I could be thinking, I'm over 50, or I'm fat, and I love about Hobie is that he's so vocal about helping other people understand how to overcome their limitations. He's really a cool guy. You're going to love him, Annette.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
I still can't believe I made you choke to death. Oh yeah, Mark. He said, did I say woodworking? Yes, Mark, I did. My father had an entire, let's see, I don't have the lamp here. I have it somewhere. He had, oh, I have a bowl. Hold on, I'll show you. Just a minute. Obviously, this is really old and it's scratched up. It needs to be refinished. But yeah, he made this bowl
Oh my gosh.
when
I
I was
love that.
probably hey Tammy, he made this bowl when I was probably hold on. Probably like 10 or 11, 40 some years ago. He made it for a lady whose father died. And so he made the bowl and then put fruit in it as a gift. And after we moved back to Virginia from Florida, and it was after Daddy died, I ran into her. And she said, would you like to have that bowl? And I had totally forgotten about it. So she gave it to me. I thought it was really sweet. But we have lamps that he made that are like in the shape of oil lamps.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so anyway, Mark, telling you to hold it together. But anyway, you're gonna love Hobie, and he's one of these people. He is ready to go. Anything you say, he's like, "Let's do it."
I love that.
Do you want to say anything to Mark or anything? Because I've been yakking the whole time.
No, I'm just always count on Mark to come on and say something funny. No, thank you. Thanks for being here, Mark. Yes, I'm trying to hold it together, but I can't hold it together when I'm around Lisa because we just laugh about whatever. So.
I know. But that's why it's so fun, and people that watch, it's like they're sitting in the living room with us,
Yeah.
I don't want to have a show that's scripted.
No.
Be free flowing. And I love it when people that we know come on.
Yep.
So those are 2 of the 6 people. And then we are having Stacy Houston, who is the executive director of Kevin Bacon's 6 Degrees organization. Amazing. Cool. Oh, hey, so Kimberly. Cool. Kimberly, I'm answering that now. So Stacy Houston, she's the executive director. She is so cool. So she's the executive director of Kevin Bacon's organization. She also is a consultant in the e-car industry, or the electric charging stations, for e-cars. She's a consultant in that. And she co-founded TEDx Tyson's, Annette.
That's awesome.
Right up there, Tyson's Corner.
Yes.
So she's amazing. I'm like, how do you have time to do all this? And she has a baby that's a year old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
very
really cool. What? Yeah. Mark says laughter is the best medicine. Okay. So that's Stacy. Then we have, hold on, I'm afraid that I'm gonna mispronounce Phyllis's last name. So let me look it up, okay? Sorry, y'all. Um, Phyllis. Phyllis Pierre. She is known as the franchise lady. For over 30 years, she has helped people figure out what their perfect business would be. You know, like Annette, she would want to talk to you about the kind of lifestyle you want to live, where you want to live, you know, all that kind of stuff, and then help match you up with a business opportunity that would be the best opportunity for you. So she'll not be talking just about franchising, but that topic in general.
That's cool.
She's really cool. And then there's Carrie Edelstein. Kimley, you can correct me. I'm not sure if it's Carrie Edelstein or Edelstein. She's a friend of Kimley's, and I'm thrilled that she's going to be with us. She's the founder of Research Narrative, and she's an expert in creating data-driven stories, which obviously is a very timely topic. That's going to be hugely valuable. We need that, right, Annette?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't even believe the guests that are going to be on.
I know. So, y'all, some of the companies that she has collaborated with are Netflix, Disney, YouTube, Amazon, Discovery, and NPR. And hello, for $30, you get to hear her and 5 other people. That is amazing. And I want to thank Kimley personally for asking Carrie to do it, because I've never had the pleasure of meeting her, and Kimley did it to help us out. So
that is so awesome.
So yeah, and then the last guest is Dane Ferguson. He's a young man who is like my second son. He's a professional musician, but he's had to overcome so many roadblocks in his professional music career. First, he cut the end of his middle finger off, and that's your fret hand, and he's a guitarist. So he cut the end of his middle finger off, and while he was trying to retrain himself to play guitar, then he cut off the end of 2 more fingers. And they were able to reattach that. But anyway, I'm not going to go into everything, but he talks about that physical trauma, but then other hurdles that he overcame. And it's just a really moving story, because most people don't think of musicians as being entrepreneurs. But I like to hear Dane speak, because it makes we tend to kind of isolate our entrepreneurial stuff, right? Annette? We kind of think of business, just like people don't normally think about a musician as being an entrepreneur. And I think listening to him speak helps us blend, not separate our business lives as much.
No, that's going to be great to hear it from his perspective, because we don't know.
Yeah, no, we don't. So what's Kimley saying? Oh, she's so sweet. Thank you, Kimley. Kimley is a huge help to me. She's actually helping behind the scenes put this together, Annette.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kimley.
Yeah, I really appreciate her. So the actual event is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. But if y'all go to disruptyournow.com, you can see more about these entrepreneurs, and then you can click through and buy your ticket on our crowdfunding site. It's only $30, y'all, for 6 amazing world-class speakers. Wouldn't you just love to be able to sit on your couch and talk to somebody who's worked with Disney?
I know, right?
So that's basically going to be what this is like. So if y'all can come up off of $30, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, it's true.
We don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, it's truly a very, very inexpensive investment in your business and in you to learn from some amazing people. And even if you can't be at the event live, like I said, we're recording it, and they're going to be available for you to rewatch or watch for the first time through the end of the year. So I'm just really excited about that.
it's gonna be, I'm so excited that you were able to get all these people, and for the price that we came up with, I mean, we wanted to make it affordable and effective to help towards, you know, the team. And I just think you're gonna get so much value. I mean, absolutely. And even if you can't come, you can watch it later.
Exactly.
So you don't have to be pressured.
Yeah, and even if you watch it, you can rewatch it. It's like you reread a book. Kimberly has a really great point, y'all. Not just speakers, but you can ask them direct questions.
You don't get to have that too much.
We have the ability, you can put in a question through a chat like this, but you can raise your hand and we can hand you the mic.
My gosh.
And you will be on video with these people. So can you imagine speaking
That's better than Clubhouse.
I know. Speaking with the lady that's worked with Disney and Netflix, or speaking with Kevin, the young lady who is the director for Kevin Bacon's organization, or Hobie, who has done those really, really cool things with Francis Ford Coppola Winery and Dave Matthews. And then Daryl, who has done, I mean, Daryl is like such a huge resource for crowdfunding. And the thing is, with business, that is also appropriate or applicable to us. You know, it's not just for nonprofits. There's so many things that you can do with crowdfunding. And by the way, if y'all want to do it, go to Fundraiser, Fundrazr. If you're going to do crowdfunding, please use that, because it's an awesome platform, and it's another way that we can support somebody who greatly supports us. So, Mark, you said, what do you mean? I
know.
I think he means the ability to ask them questions. Is that what you mean, Mark?
Or the people, because
yeah, I'm not sure. I think he means let's see. Oh, I need to touch base with her. We can do things even Disney can't do.
See?
You can, Mark. But yes, you can raise your hand. You click on a little hand, raise your hand. And when we hand you the mic, I'm going to be Oprah, because, you know, only one person at a time gets the mic. So, but when we hand you the mic, you literally are going to be on the video on stage with the person. So like Annette and I are looking at each other and speaking, you will be on there with whichever speaker, their session you ask a question of. Isn't that
oh my
cool?
gosh. I already thought of 5 questions I'm going to ask. So, yeah.
Mark says Oprah. Yeah, Mark. The other day, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with somebody, and actually it's Brandon Straza, Annette. You might know him through Steve Sims' book. I mean, through Steve Sims' group, the speaking group. Anyway, we were talking about this platform, and I said, I said a couple times, I'm like Oprah, and he's like, wait. I just want to know, why do you keep saying you're like Oprah? And I'm like, because you got to understand, only one person gets the mic at a time. Oprah doesn't go around and like let 10 people have the mic and yell in it. Yep. One person at a time gets it. So one person will get the mic and they get to say their thing. And when they're finished, then we take it back away and we give it to somebody else. So I'm Oprah. I'm the virtual Oprah. Oh, God. Anyway, now I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, you said you had 5 things you wanted to ask already, right?
Yeah. I already have questions, because you don't get this opportunity, because like I said, it's better than Clubhouse, because you go on Clubhouse and you might get a chance to get up on stage to talk. Here, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that opportunity. So,
and if you have a question you want to ask and you don't want to be on stage, it's totally fine. You can type it in the chat. There's a Q&A part. You can type in the chat and it queues it up. And at the end, we can answer those questions. So if you're not brave, you can do that. But if you're brave, you can raise your hand and get on stage. And who knows, you might get discovered by getting up there.
I know, right?
You asked a question of one of those people and they were like, oh my God, they're brilliant. I need to hire them. You never know. I mean,
you don't.
Just like us.
Exactly.
Well,
You
maybe
don't.
not just like us, but
Well, you know.
Indian giver. Mark says Indian giver. Um, so this is going to put Daryl in perspective. Daryl Hatton, the founder of Fundraiser, when Facebook was first starting their the ability for you to be able to take payments through it, Daryl's company was the second, one of the first two companies that did like the beta testing with them.
Wow.
And then I saw a picture of him back before they made it for the public, and they were still doing beta testing, but they were rolling it out to more companies. And so there was a screen that had the logos of the companies that were involved in it up until then, and Fundraiser was in it, but it was companies like Google, and I don't know if Google's in it, but it was like big names. It was companies that we would know. So Daryl is one of those people that he's famous in his own world. We don't know him, but he's made huge things happen in that social fundraising world. And he also is on the board of the PayPal Giving Fund for Canada.
That's
Yeah.
cool too.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's cool. And then Phyllis, the lady, the franchise lady, I mean, she's been doing it for over 30 years, and she's like really, I don't know if she's like a director or something for the International Franchise Association, but she knows a lot of people like really high up within it.
Yeah.
And if you've heard of the company Neighborly, like she knows the lady who is the CEO of that, or was, because the lady sold it a year ago. So she knows so many people, and it's just going to be a really cool Mark has squirrel. It's just going to be a really cool time to ask questions. So I have to show Mark's squirrel question. Off topic, does Lisa play piano? Mark, no, that's my grandma's piano, which she got when my mother was little. My mom was born in 1933, I think. My grandma bought that used through the Sears catalog.
Sears.
Now, my father owned a music store when I was growing up, and I took piano lessons, but I would not practice. And it was torture for him because, hello, we should have been wonderful musicians. But if I started practicing, I'd hear it coming up the basement steps. You're doing it wrong. Anyway, I was not a good pianist. I was in the band in high school, though, and I actually made all regional band and all state band. Yeah. So that doesn't mean I was that wonderful, but, it means I could read music and play and, march and do the drills during the football games, which to me was the best part. But no, Mark, sorry, I don't play piano. Does anybody else have any questions about next week? I hope that y'all, I'm begging you, please share this with other people so that they will understand how much fun it's going to be. And please encourage people to come and support the crowdfunder, even if they only give $10. It's a huge help to us because 25% of active duty military, Tammy, wait, sorry, y'all, this is my squirrel moment. Tammy played the accordion. Oh my God. Now, Tammy, I love that. That's like Cajun. That reminds me of Cajun. That's awesome. Mark, see, okay, my ADD is totally taking over. But look, y'all, seriously now, 25% of active duty are NASCAR fans. 18% of NASCAR fans are veterans. That's not counting the family and friends. So think about it. With that high of a percentage in that demographic, that high of a percentage of the military community, it's probably the best place to reach somebody who may be at risk outside of military bases or installations. And all it takes is for the one right person to see it, the one person who is either at risk or one of their friends and family who will recognize, and they don't even, they don't have to be at risk of suicide. It could be somebody with PTSD or traumatic brain injury that just needs help and hasn't been able to bring themselves to reach out to the typical, in the typical hospital, or maybe it's taking too long through the VA or something.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yes, Mark says he's a sponsor of Racing for Heroes. We really appreciate that, Mark. Really do. So, all right, y'all. Do you have anything else you want to say, Annette? Besides, get me off of here with this crazy lady.
No, I'm gonna chime in with the begging part too. Please share. Please explain to people why we're doing it and all the benefits. I mean, all the amazing things they're going to get for that, that low price. 100% is going towards this team. We really, really want to help them continue their mission. So, yeah. And if you can't make it, you can still watch it later. So
that's right.
And not,
I forgot to say that for only 20 more, they can also come to the virtual gala that we're going to have, where they can interact with Colin, the driver, Mike Evok, the special operator, retired Green Beret, who's the founder of Racing for Heroes, a bunch of his special operator friends, some other special guests that we're not going to tell you. So
I want to do that.
And that's just for $20 more. So, and you don't have to do that, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And think about it. You're all sitting stuck at home. You need to do something to be around some other people.
I know. And you don't really have to dress up.
It really is.
What?
Mark says, come on, ladies, tell us how it really is. Mark and Kimberly and Tammy, I'm so glad that y'all joined us tonight. I love it when people that we know come.
Yes.
Website one more time, disruptyournow.com. That's where you can go find out more about the speakers. I and Annette are the sponsors of the event. 100% of the money goes to the National Awareness Campaign. Our companies get nothing. Annette's company is A Wild Ride Called Life, and her podcast is The Truths We Hide. So you want to say something else before we go about your podcast or your blog or any of the things that you've got a couple of events coming up. Tell them about that.
Oh, well, I did my first event today. I was a workshop host speaker for Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs. So that was really amazing. And then Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, I will be a PodFest speaker for finding your voice through podcasting.
Awesome. And that's PodFest Global.
Yes, PodFest Global.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can get free tickets. Just message me.
Mark wants to know how he can help. If you can buy a ticket to come to the event, and remember, you get to watch the videos through the rest of the year. But also, if you will like any of the posts that we do promoting it, if you'll share it and you'll ask people to, or like and share the actual website, Disrupt Your Now, and ask people to please support the crowdfunder, even if it's just $10. Because the thing is, getting a little bit of traction, every little bit of traction helps get more traction.
Yeah.
Mark says you're a vampire. He says you never sleep. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate y'all coming and entertaining me and Annette while we talk about this. And thank you, Annette, for laughing at me while I blabbed the whole time.
You laughed at me when I choked, so it's okay.
That's how my family was growing up. You have to laugh at somebody that's like hurt themselves, or
you do. You do. It's totally fine. I was fine. Everything's fine.
Yep. Okay, y'all. Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. each evening. 2 speakers each night. You can still watch the videos even if you're not able to get it live. And I won't be having my Tuesday night and Thursday night show those evenings, obviously, because we're doing the events at the same time. Yay, Amy's going to buy a ticket. Look, here's our other buddy, Amy. Thank you, Amy. Thanks. All right, y'all, I'm really going to go this time. See ya.